This is a video response to a user named Suit Yourself. I got onto one of his videos because of a guy on Twitter I follow. His name is Sir Write a Lot. Shout out. So Suit Yourself made a video about moms and stay-at-home moms and working mothers in Australia because he's Australian and he cares about this issue, and I think he gets triggered by social justice warriors just like me. So I thought I'd make the video response. The issue is that originally the OECD put out a report saying that the economies of Australia, for example, would suffer if single moms don't go back to work. So let's think about this not from the social and political angle, but from the economic angle. What is the OECD? It's an intergovernmental association that provides statistics on economics for its member states. The OECD is basically what you would think of as all of the Western civilized countries. So it's going to be Western Europe, North America, Japan, Australia, South Korea, all of the countries that are essentially democratic and rich and offer a good quality of life to their citizens. So their observation in this report is that plenty of mothers have skills, have job skills, have ways to earn money. While they're raising children, they're not using those skills. So that money isn't being generated. Those skills are being wasted. Now, what everyone knows, what you know and what I know and what everyone but the OECD knows is that in our lives we make sacrifices between the things that we want to do. If you have two jobs and one is more fun, but the other job you make more money, you have to choose between those two things. Do you want to make less money and have more fun, or do you just want to be miserable and make more money and probably get cancer and have all sorts of stress and anxiety related illnesses? So the OECD's position is we should all be making as much money as possible. The citizens of the country should be making as much money as possible. Why is that? Because they are globalist parasites. The people who run the OECD are the same bankers and politicians and power brokers who are bleeding us dry by sucking away part of our labor in order to fund their projects. Okay? So we shouldn't even be listening to anything that the OECD has to say. If they have statistics, fine, use them. I've used their stuff before. I've done a lot of research that used what the OECD created. But if they're going to write a report with a narrative, with recommendations, you should hold your horses. Definitely consider what their viewpoint is. Who are the technicians, the people who are writing a report at the OECD, who are they being paid by and what's their position? It's people like the Clinton Foundation who want to sell uranium to God knows who in return for some kind of quid pro quo. Go look at Charles Ortel's work and look at the interplay between big government and the charitable foundations that the very politicians themselves run and operate. So I would say, as far as Suit Yourself's video goes, it's great, it's fine, he's right about everything he says, but we don't even have to get to the point where we have a conversation about society and politics and journalism, because we can stop immediately at the very front and say, look who's telling us that all of these single mothers should stop raising their children and should instead go to work. If the mothers go back to work, what are you going to get? The child has to be raised by someone, right? Yes? So what we're probably going to do, according to the OECD, the best thing we should do is bring in unskilled immigrants from overseas. Bring in a bunch of unskilled immigrant labor to take care of middle-class white women's children so that they can go back to work and increase the overall GDP of the OECD countries. Essentially so that the politicians have more money to play with. Does this make sense? If you looked at the report, you would see that something like, I can't remember what it was, but labor force involvement, I think, for some of these women was 73%. So 73% are working, and that's not enough. They're worried about the margins, because when the margins for a country a change in 1 or 2% of the labor force could end up being billions of dollars. So that's what they're concerned with. I find it to be disgusting. So these are the same people who are basically saying you should definitely breastfeed your child because breast milk is so good for your baby, but then you shouldn't be at home with your baby. If you want to have kids, you should have them and you should raise them properly. You shouldn't go to work and make yourself miserable to generate more money for people who are going to rip it off in terms of taxes. So this is a disgusting position. It's disgusting propaganda by the OECD, and the fact that these social justice warriors are falling for globalist tricks shows that they're either complicit, ignorant, or didn't do enough research to find out what's going on. And in fact, you'll find it all the time. These people who probably think of themselves as having something to fear from government in terms of its failure or inability to protect the rights of people are often the ones who are doing the legwork for the globalists. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Suit Yourself, for this video, and thank you, Sir Ride-A-Lot, for sending it along. Thanks.